Hello and welcome to this tutorial or a walkthrough for this animation you can see here in the background. I posted this yesterday on Instagram and I thought I could make a tutorial or a walkthrough for this animation because it's so simple. If I turn off the taper object and the depth of this curve here, you can see it's just a straight line, and I used this other path here to create the form of the object or of the curve, and I used this thing as the taper object and added a depth of 0.618 whatever, and it looks like this. And then I just added a rotation for this path here, and the other animation, the animation of the path here, is done with shape keys. This is how the path looks if I go into the edit mode here. It's more or less the same than the other path, just with more vertex points here. The shape keys are down here. If I add another curve here, NURBS curve or NURBS path, the object or the curve between these points is automatically generated, and you don't need to add any anchor points or whatever. And if I add a shape key for this one, the first one is the basis key. You always need to define a basis key which saves this path here, and if I add another key and then go into the edit mode, I can change these points like that and like that and like that. For example, if I go back to the edit mode, it returns to its original form because the value of this key down here is at 0. And if I now take this slider and move it up, it changes the path and gives it a new shape or a new path basically. And that's all I did for this one here. I just added another key. It's the same. If you add another key, you just add it, and if you go into the edit mode while selecting the key here, you can move these points just like that, go back to the object mode, and voila, it's the same thing. And now I could make another animation using the same base shape. So I'll go back to edit mode in shape Q1, add frame 0. I just edit these points to whatever looks good here. Really doesn't matter. It's just, if you like it, you can use it. Take the shape and animate it. If you don't like it, you change it. And the curve here is basically parented to the origin here, which is here, located here. And if I move all of these points to the right, you can see what happens, and to the left it's the same thing, because this is basically the center line of this thing here. I'll see what happens if I now go to the medium point, pivot point selector, and scale it on the x-axis by -1, which does nothing for whatever reason. Oh, my numpad is turned off, I guess. Now it works. That looks horrible, but I can fix that. And I used the same technique in the other animation as well, just because changing the direction, I just move random things here and there and see if it looks good at the end, and if not, I just delete it or render it and never upload it to any social media. But whatever, I learned something new if I did so. Now, if I use the timeline here, I see that it is not as powerful as the other animation. The changes aren't that big, so I guess I just edit this one more time again. And yeah, I can select multiple points at once and rotate them like in the edit mode as well. So it's super cool to work with this technique. And now it may look good. That looks better in my opinion. So I think this is it. I'll save this, and now I need to render it. And yeah, after rendering it, I can show you the setup here. Here we go. I go into the compositing and I just edit 2 render layers. My main shape is on render layer or on layer 2, and the rest is on layer 1. And I use these render layers to separate them, just like this. And if I use this, then use the file output here, I can save the background and the foreground separated from that, and import those 2 as image series in After Effects, so that I can create this cool animation here, this 2D animation in the background, without having any masking problems or whatever. That's just it, I think, and I hope that this helps some of you at least. And yeah, see you next time.